Good evening, everybody, on a very, very late Wednesday evening. It is past 11 o'clock down here in South Africa, and welcome to our player ratings show. So the reason that we actually fortunately have to take quite a long break between this is I'm literally still in a press conference. Blooming Conor Murray is still addressing us. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's 11 o'clock and we're still going here. But we've got the recording in the background, so don't worry. We will have these press conferences available for you in the next sort of couple of hours. We'll have a couple of them for the morning and stuff like that. But the reason we are all here is to go and rate the players' performance tonight. So the SAA side beating the British and Irish Lions 17 points to 13. I mean, what a match it was. And I think that if nothing else, if we just, even if we disregard the performance and we say that whatever the score was, you cannot help but be excited about this too. I mean, what a game of rugby of two teams going at each other, some really good moments, some really good individual moments, a couple of players putting their hands up for maybe potential testing spots, a couple of other players maybe sort of underperforming a little bit, a couple of questions asked. And I think that out of those two coaches, I think you probably think that Warren Gatton is in many ways a bit of a happier coach. Obviously, the SAA got a victory tonight, but what they did, and what I think Gatton will be hoping they did, is that they sort of got an idea of the physicality. I mean, these Lions players now know what's going to hit them next week Saturday, which I don't think would have been the case had we gone with a weaker side, which probably would have been the case if we had that Georgia game. You know, we all know this probably wouldn't have been the normal sort of SAA side. And yeah, but before we sort of keep going, please do go and vote right now. The link is in the description there. It's the pinned comment there. I see a couple of people are still voting. So go and cast your vote. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to go through both teams, give them a rating between 1 and 10, and then I'll put a poll in the. Let's actually do it like that. I need 3 nominations for man of the match. Get those nominations in the comments, and then I'll create a poll in the comments, and we'll vote. And then after we go at the end of the rating show, we'll then announce who you decide as man of the match. And what I'll do in the future is I'll create that poll on the actual watch along, so more people can go and vote. But if you're watching, please go and chuck in the comments who you think should be the man of the match. Who are your candidates? I think immediately 3 candidates for me would be Cheslin Colby, Lakanya and Malcolm Marks. If you've got anybody else in that, chuck it in the comments. I'll give you 2 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to put those 3 players in that poll, and then we can vote. And as we go through the players and stuff like that and rate them, we can vote then on who you officially think was the man of the match. So let me just prep that ready. Mario Toje from Jack. So there we go. So we've got a shout from sorry, this press conference is finally ended, so I can press stop recording it. Cool. Yes, we've got Mario Toje there, so we can chuck Mario Toje in there. I don't mind a British and Irish Lions shout there. So we've got Mario Toje. I'm gonna throw in Lakanya. He's gonna be my pick there. I think Faf de Klerk played well. We've got one more spot because I want to chuck Lakanya in there. I thought he was very, very impressive. Maybe we don't want to chuck Lakanya. So if you've got any issues with that, let me know. So we've got a shout for Faf de Klerk. We probably had to put Cheslin Colby in there. He was the official man of the match, so we'll put Cheslin Colby in there. So at this stage, are we happy with going Faf de Klerk as our third option? Marks. There we go. I like it. I like that Mark shout. I think, can we add a 4th option? Okay, I'm going to add Lakanya in anyway, just because I thought that he was very good. And captain, so shout out to him. Right, well, the people have spoken. I've actually pretty much more spoken. So we're going to go with those 4 players. So that poll's going to be running in the chat, so you can go and vote for your man of the match. But yeah, please do keep voting on the players, on rating stuff like that. We've got 7 people currently voting, so I'll give you guys a little bit of time to try and get through that. Then we just talk about that match. I mean, I think that, you know, I said I didn't really want to call it in my preview because I wasn't really sure what we were going to see from that SAA side. It's a side that had been in quarantine for a week. They hadn't trained together. You know, it was a side that was very, very strong on paper. Arguably probably stronger on paper than the British and Irish Lions, so they're probably expected to win, especially when you look at how lethal the backline was and some, you know, a couple of key forwards there. But I think there were a couple of interesting sort of areas which are maybe a little bit of concern for the Boks. I thought scrums are a big concern. I think we would dominate the scrums most of the match. Even right at the end there, they almost managed to win a scrum penalty. So I think that'll be a bit of a worry. I think we'll probably see Frans Herbert coming in there. I thought that we were kind of lacking a little bit. We didn't really have a lot of go forward ball and attack. You know, I thought Mornay Stain struggled at times. I thought it was a Mornay Stain performance in many ways. I think, you know, and it's not to say I don't like Mornay Stain, but let's be honest, Mornay Stain offers you a really useful boot. But it kind of ends there, doesn't it? Mornay Stain is not going to get that backline going. I mean, we tried a cross kick, which didn't really work. He chipped over the top once, which also didn't really work. He missed a penalty. I thought Mornay Stain is, you know, if you want someone to come on in the 80th minute and slot a penalty, you know, look no further. But I don't think we'll see him in those tests. I think from what I saw tonight, I saw somebody who I think that if we were up against it, would really, really struggle. So obviously Pollard comes in if he's available. What would be interesting is Pollard's not available. Do we still back Mornay Stain, or do we roll the dice with Alton Yankee? So it should be quite an interesting call. But yeah, I thought that we struggled a little bit on the attack. Defensively, I mean, you can never complain about defensive performance. It was proper grit tonight. It was just drawing a line in the sand saying, you will not get past this. And they almost did, you know. I mean, 2 calls for double movement. Warren Gatland says he reckons a couple of calls went against him. He says not blaming the referee. I can kind of see where he's going with. I think there were a couple of close calls. I think, you know, the 2 yellow cards were definitely warranted. I mean, talking about maybe a potential red for Faf de Klerk. It wasn't a great tackle for him. I think people who are trying to excuse him are being a bit silly. I think it was a direct head clash. I don't even think it was the head clash about it. I think it's the fact that he ran in pretty high with his shoulder and never attempted to wrap or use his arms at all. So I think it was pretty reckless by Faf de Klerk. And I think that, unfortunately, for Conor Mustard, he was just guilty of being the last person to sort of make that mistake. Still quite a few people in the voting ratings, so I just want to give it a bit of time for people to really get those ratings in. I think this will probably be the most people we've ever had vote, which would be quite cool. So what are the comments saying here? So you got somebody that shout for peace death to Toy. Tadzio says Toy was world class. I mean, he only played 42 minutes, which is why I probably wouldn't put him in man of the match. Well, having said that, I suppose so did Malcolm Marks. He was very good, though. He made some big hits, a couple of offsides a little bit. He always kind of sits around those fringes. Him and Eben Etzerberg, you know, are so intent on trying to sort of impose themselves on the game, and they sometimes sort of jump the gun a little bit. But, I mean, peace death to Toy, he's just an engine, isn't he? He's an absolute unit. Vic says, defensively we were great, attacking-wise, we showed nothing. Yeah, I mean, we didn't see... I mean, Damien Lindy might as well not have been in... playing in terms of our attacking thing. I thought he had quite a quiet game. Didn't have a lot of ball, didn't have a lot of opportunity. Lekanyo I thought was class. I mean, he made some very good defensive reads. He made some big tackles when he had to. I mean, if you look at like stats-wise, I think when we look at Lekanyo stats, we won't be, you know, like 10 tackles and like 4 defenders beaten. But if you look at the contributions he made, I thought he was just a different level. He just looked, you know, somebody who started possession, didn't have an opportunity, but when he had to do something, he made his tackle. He made defensive reads that were fantastic. He made some really, really, I mean, obviously he scored that try, but he just looked really, really good, didn't he? I think that there's just no issues about, I don't even think it's a conversation about whether we're looking at any other number 13. I think that I think we've got I think we've got so much talent in that backline. I think Lekanyo is somebody that is overlooked sometimes. Because obviously you've got Damien Lindy, arguably the best inside centre in the world, one of them. You've got Chesney Colby, arguably the best player in the world. You've got Marcus on the Pimpy on the other side. I thought Spirit Corsi was fantastic tonight. But I don't think, and then we've obviously got Faf de Klerk, who's so in your face in the calm presence of Andre Pollard. But Lekanyo he's just a class. He really is. So very chuffed that I thought he led pretty well. He's not a loud leader. He's not an in your face, you know, type of person. He's very much a lead by example type. He's quiet. He'll lean on other people. He's a bit like Khaleesi in many ways. And I think that we're seeing a new type of captain, and I quite like it. You know, there are certain captains who are very in the ref's face, know exactly how to speak to the ref, very, very vocal. I mean, something like a Dwayne Vermeulen is very, very vocal. But I think there are other types of captains here. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know, somebody like Khaleesi, Lekanyo who will lean on other players. They'll make the big decisions, and they're happy to make the big decisions, but I think that they very much sort of, I'm just going to play my heart out. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to set the bar up here. You need to try and match me, at very least. And if I'm playing well, and you're matching me, we're going to have no issues. I'll be the Safa says, Am was defensively genius today. Tim van den Berg said, didn't show much on attack to be sure, but is it better if the box didn't need to? Both sides likely hiding attacking shapes and plans for the actual test. I mean, Warren Gatland admitted it. He said, yeah, we're trying things back in the training that we didn't want to show tonight. And I think it kind of looked like that, didn't it? It was kind of a game where it was almost quite boring in the way. I mean, I think that they tried probably more on attack, you know, a couple of cross kicks that they tried, and obviously they very much like to play a forward off 9, you know, to give that ball to Owen Farrell, and they try to go to the wings quite quickly. But we didn't exactly see too many set piece moves. We didn't exactly see like a whole different sort of defensive shape all of a sudden. It looked like two teams who wanted to go out and play a hard game, bash each other up, make big tackles, try and make some really good breaks, but not put things together which they could then analyze. You could see it was two teams with sort of holding their cards close to their chest. Whereas I think in the provincial and the union games, it's very much been the British and Irish Lions having a walk around. So the other sides are struggling really. Tazio says we were kicking too much. Unfortunately, I mean, look, I think it is a game plan. Rassi Erasmus laughed about it. He says, we'll kick and chase, but we do. We kick a hell of a lot of ball away, which is weird because that's why Faf de Klerk has had to. I mean, he was under so much pressure was Faf de Klerk because he couldn't kick the ball. But I mean, you're asking a guy whose weakest asset was to box kick, right? You're gonna have to box kick a lot. But the problem was he was too good to drop. You couldn't drop. So he had to add that part of his game. Jaco says, I think Faf was great apart from reckless tackle, especially in control when Mornay wasn't doing his best. Etsy was my man of the match. Yeah, good performance, much better performance from Etzerberg than we saw against Georgia. Do you think Cock or Trevor will be on the bench? I don't think either of them really. I mean, I thought Cock was probably better, but I don't think Miles better. We got decimated in that last scrum and almost conceded a very poor penalty right at the end. So I think it's going to be a big call. I really like Trevor Nyakane. I think he's probably the most well-rounded tight end we've got. But Frans Malherbe walks in that starting lineup. We need that defensive stability. Campos says, is an amazing player. Jack Balsero says, I think was a brilliant captain, but I think it's always best to have a forward for captain, so I'll stick with Siaklis. Yeah, I don't think they're going to change. Look, it depends if Siaklis is available. I think if he's not available, it becomes quite interesting. I mean, Gatlin, for example, is someone who will not pick an outside back. He's not going to have Stuart Hogg as captain, for example, because he wants to have somebody close to the referee, close to the rucks, and I think it's a good idea. So Siaklis obviously is not going anywhere. P3 says, I thought they would apply more pressure on Morris Stan. Yeah, as well. I thought that, especially towards I think the second half, they kind of sort of tried to find him a little bit more and put him under pressure. But, I'm interested to see what people thought about Morris Stan because I thought he had pretty good first half where people were saying he looked ageless, and then in the second half where I thought he looked pretty aged. Vic says, I want to see Thomas Satoya being an option for the bench. Trevor was a letdown. Yeah, I was frustrated with Trevor. I thought he was pretty good against Georgia. Wasn't phenomenal in the scrums, but Georgia got a very good scrum. But he's much better in the loose than a lot of the tight ends, which is what sometimes gives him the edge. But I just like to see him. We know that Trevor's got the talent. I would say on paper he's our most talented in terms of individual talent. He's our most talented tight end by country mile. It's just whether he can get it right. And scrums are a strange thing because, 1 day you'll struggle, the next day you'll be perfectly fine. I don't think, it's consistency, I suppose, which gets you selected. That's why Frans Malherbe always starts because he's just consistently the best, most reliable tight end. What do you think Marks will start? I mean, it's difficult because, look, after that performance, how do you not start him? At the same time, you then think, impact player. So I think Bongi Manambi, I know what it is. Let's be honest, we know now that our best 15 players don't start. I mean, how cool is that? We know right now that we saw what happened with the bomb squad. We know that the starting for 15 for the Springboks is not the 15 best players. We do keep players on the bench who we think can come on and have an impact. We've really, really seen a conversion. And I think the Bulls, even on social media, they label them finishers as opposed to the bench and replacements. Back in the day, you had a bench for players who got injured and you didn't really use them. Now, it's become, we've seen Jake White load Trevor and Lizo Koboka onto the bench and say, right, 50 minutes, they're going to come on and decimate the other scrum. And I think that the impact that Malcolm Marks had when he came. Joseph Dweber wasn't even bad. I thought Joseph Dweber played pretty well. He made all his tackles. He was quite physical. Had one bad line, but after that, he looked really solid. And yet, what's the first thing we're talking about? Surely Malcolm Marks starts because that's how good he was off the bench. So it's difficult because I think Bongi Manambi is a fantastic player to have. And then if you bring in Malcolm Marks, we saw it in the World Cup final. He's an incredible player to be able to bring on. So what do? Do you use that player for 50 minutes and then lose him, or do you bring him on and say, listen, you're going to be my finisher? The tackle he made on Watson, he made a couple of, and then he made the tackle on Watson, then got up and made another tackle and drove them back. He made a couple of very important, he had one official steal, but he slowed the ball down a lot. He's just, Malcolm Marks is a different class. He's so good. We know this as Lions fans. We watched him for the first couple of games and you watch him, you think that is a world-class hooker. But we've got such good depth. Joseph Dweber probably won't make the bench next weekend, and I thought he was fantastic. Thoughts on Mornay's performance? Yeah, I'll get to Mornay when we do the ratings. As I said, I was thinking it was a little bit. I think underwhelming is probably the word I'd use for Mornay Stain. Just looked. He looked old, I suppose. Is maybe the thought. So you'll get to. I think he'll be the big contention. I think he's what everybody's talking about because we're very worried what happens if RJ Pollard's not fit. I think tonight, the idea was let's see if Mornay Steyn can still play at this level because maybe they're worried that Alton Yankees is a strange one, isn't he? Because look. Put it this way: if you're gonna sit there and put in the comments Alton Yankees is a shit player, you're wrong. You're just wrong. He's not a bad player. He's a very, very good rugby player. The problem is he's a maverick, just like Finn Russell is. He's a player who will win you a game and can lose you a game. He sits on those fringes. So, do we risk Alton Yankees behind a dominating pack where he can thrive? And if you've got Alton Yankees putting Damien Delindi in a gap or Makazuma Pimpy coming around the outside, you put him in the gap. It can be devastating, but if the pack is struggling and they put Alton Yankees under a lot of pressure or they're targeting the defense, that becomes a hole. So I think it's quite an interesting debate. We've got to make sure that Andre Pollard is fit because he's just such a solid option. Because if he doesn't start, it becomes a big, big question. Do you play Mornay Steyn, who looks like he's old and looks like maybe he might not be there? Or do you play the maverick that is Alton Yankees, who can blow hot and cold, can be fantastic, can be a disaster? It's a very big call to make. I really like Alton Yankees off the bench. I think he's a player who's so good to chase a game if you need to and stuff like that. But we do like our 6-2 splits. Mornay didn't play as good. Trevor was terrible. Yeah, didn't go very well. Our depth is our dynamite. I think Villaroo is underrated. Yeah, I think he's a silent assassin in many ways. Is Villaroo, him and his little bucket hat. He just sort of does his job. Nothing fancy, nothing incredibly good, but it's just solid. We will have to wait and see on him. I think Rusty Russell wasn't too worried about him, but we'll wait and see. Other substance thoughts on Deprez to add a bit of muscle off the bench. I think it all comes down to who's fit. I wasn't impressed with Reynard Ulstad. I don't know about you guys, but I have yet to see Reynard Ulstad make an impact for the Springboks. I don't know what he's doing in France because I don't watch enough top 14. I'm going to try to watch more next. It's just so much rugby to watch. Forgive me. But I've not been impressed by Reynard Ulstad. Can't wait for Springboks to unleash the Deprez. Yeah, I think we'll see them on the weekend against the Bulls. So it has been confirmed, by the way. The Bulls are down in Cape Town, and the plan is if there are no COVID cases, SAA will play against the Bulls. It's been finally confirmed. And the Lions will then play against the Stormers. But if there are any COVID cases, for example, in the Stormers camp or in the Bulls, well, if there's COVID cases in the Bulls camp, then nothing. And if there's COVID cases in the SA again, then nothing. But what would actually be interesting is if there are COVID cases in the Stormers camp and there's COVID cases in the SAA camp, do the Bulls then go and play against the British and Irish Lions? But in theory, it will be Lions versus Stormers and it will be SAA versus Bulls as long as there aren't any COVID cases in those camps. Vic says, keep marks for the second half. I like him finishing games while being fresh and the opponent slowing down. Scrum is a concern, really missing France in the type, but was happy to see Cooney not buckling at loose at the dying stages of the game. What about Damien Willemse at 10? No. He can. I just don't think Damien Willemse is a 10. I think but can we just talk about his performance, by the way? I think he made 7 or 8 tackles. Inside centre, we've been saying this in the chat. Because fullback, they've got Warwick Lunch at the Stormers. Fly half, I think Willemse struggles a little bit of fly half. He's never really sort of showed that he's got I think he's got too much to offer in many ways to do fly half. All his talents are in his attacking ability. He's very good defensively. He can kick, but it's not his best suit, and he can't kick for goal for shit, let's be honest. He's not a good goal kicker. So I think inside centre suits him to a T. Very much a different inside centre to sort of the physicality of Damien Delindi, who will run over people. He's got that lethal step inside. But I think he could be a very good inside centre. I'd really like to see him play in their Stormers. And it's funny how Stormers refuse to play him there, and the first thing that Rusty Erasmus does is stick him at 12, 2 games in a row. Willemse tackled like a demon since he came on. Yeah, he was really good. Damien Willemse at 12 was fantastic on defense. Agree, Willemse is not a 10, thrives at 15 and 12. Yeah, not a goal kick for sure. Yeah, he doesn't do that, does he? We still got 4 people voting. So I kind of want to start. I'm starving. I haven't even eaten dinner tonight. Imagine Ches and Colby and Gio along on the wings. Willemse is good at 12. Yeah, I'm hoping we see the problem with Willemse at 12 is that Stormers have got Ricketts Pretorius and Abdu Bassi, who are both inside centres. So, I'm sure the Springboks will be sitting. Can he come to the Lions? I'll tell you, if he hadn't signed that $5 million contract, the Lions need an inside centre. He'd be fantastic there. France, they should be back up 10. I'm very interested to see what they go. I think if they go with a 6-2 split, you kind of have to go with France because I don't think Willemse is ready yet to be able to cover the rest of the back line. I think he's the natural replacement. But if you go with a 4-3 split, I would probably look at a bench of Herschel Yankees, Alton Yankees, and Damien Willemse. I think that's a very nice bench, to be honest. I think Willemse can play on the wing. I think Jesse Creel hasn't blown me away when he's come on. He didn't get a lot of opportunity tonight. Remember, Galant is also coming back, so who knows what happened with him. So that's what I'm saying, because Galant, and before Galant got injured, he was tremendous at fullback, probably playing some of his best rugby I've ever seen him play. So he's going to be fullback. Where are you going to put Damien Willemse? I mean, they once came, and look, Tim Sweel's playing good rugby as well. I'd put Damien at 12, and let's do it. But yeah, I think we kind of have to get stuck into this. I know there are a lot of people still voting, and it's really, really nice to see. And I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. But I think we do need to get voting because I need to try and get all the content out. Why did Weber go off? We had a good game. I think it was probably pre-planned, to be honest, from the sounds of it. It must have been. It's not like he would have taken off because he was performing badly. But I mean, you can't really complain with the way that Malcolm Marx then decided to come on and play. So we're going to start with the British and Irish Lions players, and then we'll move on to our SAA players. And we'll start with Winjo. Where's my phone? I need to get my stats. I'm all about the stats. Do a bit of stat attack. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. What am I doing? It's amazing what a good mood you can be put in with a game like that. Look, they're probably going to give Dweber a run against Saturday for the real SAA team. Do you know what I would just want to do is I will give Scarra and Timani back to the Stormers for a weekend and say, listen, have him play Dweber at 2 and have Bongi Manambi coming off the bench for the real SAA side. So, yeah, let's get some of the stats. Toby Hart says, more go forward ball, left 2 if Billy's hurt. Vic says they're probably going to, Gonsalves, my soul craves for the sheer madness of alternate 10 and Willemse at 15. What about alternate 10, Willemse at 12, and Warwick Galant at 15? Now we're just getting silly, aren't we? Edwin van der Merwe at 11, bring back Tyron Green at 14. Could you imagine? Right, here are the... What do you mean? That's why. Where are we? 1730. There we go. Right, so we'll start with the British and Irish Lions chaps. Wyn Jones scored a try. With Similani at 13. Well, exactly. It would be disgustingly good. Could you imagine? I mean, look, defensively, maybe they would ask some questions. But I tell you what, if you put Faf de Klerk, or even Herschel Yankees, or Faf de Klerk, Alton Yankees, Edwin van der Merwe, Cheslin Colby, Damien Willemse inside, Wanderseer Similani outside, Warwick Galant at 15. That would be childish. Behind a good pack, RIP any team. I mean, as I said, they might be leaky in the defense, but they'll just outscore people. That would be just, I mean, the problem is who doesn't be creative in that scenario, you know, who decides not to throw that miracle pass. Right, so Wyn Jones made 9 carries. He made 4 tackles, didn't miss a tackle, and he made Trevor Inyakane look like a pub prop. I think let's be very honest there. He murdered him. So I'm probably going to give Wyn Jones probably an 8, actually. I don't know. Where do we think I thought Wyn Jones was really he almost scored a try. Got taken off early because of that stinger that he had, but I mean, he decimated Trevor. Didn't miss a tackle. I'd be hard. I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was really, really good. 5.8. Are you people cooked? What did he do wrong? What did Wyn Jones do wrong? Maybe a 7 I can go with. Maybe I'm being harsh. I'll change it to a 7. I'll go with that. But a 5.8, I think people are a little bit harsh there. What did he do wrong? He made 9 carries, almost scored a try, put Trevor on the floor multiple times. I mean, he almost retired Trevor from the Springboks tonight. Yeah, I think that's harsh. I think that's very harsh. The voting is corrupt. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Ken Owens. Did Ken Owens do enough to move him ahead of Cowan Dickey and Jamie George? I mean, I thought he was pretty solid. I thought Wyn Jones was better, to be honest. So I'm probably going to give Ken Owens 10 carries, 3 tackles, 1 defender beaten. He didn't miss a tackle, did Ken Owens. 1 turnover, 1 as well. So maybe I'll give Ken Owens a 7 as well. Should we give him a 6? I think 7's fair for Ken Owens. I thought it was pretty good. 6.3. Yeah, it's a bit lower. I thought their starting front row. Kyle Sinclair stepped up today. I think 4 tackles made, 6 meters gain across 6 carries. That's probably I don't know. I think he was decent as well as Kyle Sinclair. I'll probably go with the 7 for Sinclair. I think it's going to be a much higher voting system. At the end of the day, 6.8, we're pretty close. At the end of the day, we saw a good match, didn't we? You know, in the past, it's been a case of 7s and above for the British Irish Lions, and we're kind of pitching around 4, 5s, and 6s for the sides who get pummeled by them. But I think that tonight they were much better. I think Sinclair's probably going to get a 7 for me just based on his scrummaging performance. I thought they gave us quite a lot of hard time. He didn't necessarily ever give the best of Stephen Kitsoff, but I thought he was pretty solid. Mario Itoje, well, somebody called him for man of the match. I thought the locks are looking good actually in Henderson and Mario Itoje. Mario Itoje made 12 carries, 8 tackles, missed 1 tackle, 2 turnovers, 1. He also won a line-out, disrupted the line-out quite a while. So I'll probably give Itoje a 7 as well, maybe an 8, but a 7. I thought he was very, very impressive tonight. 6.5. Okay. Listen, remember we mustn't be biased here. We mustn't just give the Lions players bad scores if we don't like them. I mean, a lot of people saying they didn't play badly, they didn't play well. I think that you know what it is. I think if they wanted to win that game tonight, they could have. Let's be honest. They had 22 penalties inside the SAA half, and they didn't take points. They had how many penalties in that tapped and go? You know, you kick to the line out, you take a scrum with the way they were going. This British Irish Lions side, for all the people that they say they didn't play well, they should have won tonight. They should have won tonight, and I think they could have. I think they had every chance to go and win tonight. So I think that as much as I'm very impressed with what we managed to do, I think that, as I said, I think Warren Gatland would be the happier the person, because I think that they know that they could have won that game and probably should have won that game. I think they'll know that for a lot of the game they had some very good moments, and they'll know that they held stuff back. So I don't think that they'll be worried, for example, about this game. Ian Henderson, 5 carries, 2 tackles, 1 turnover, 1. Gave away a penalty. I think he gave away 2 penalties, actually. If we're being harsh, I'll give Ian Henderson a 6, but I thought he was pretty good. 6.5, yeah. First time I've gone lower than people. I'm just trying to maybe just bring myself back, but I thought he's good. I think that Ellerman Jones has got a tough time getting into the side, because I think before the tour, based on the Six Nations, I reckon we all thought it was going to be Ian Henderson and Ellerman Jones. But Mario Itoje has come back and said, listen, just remember that I can be world class, eh? And I think he's been fantastic in the tour so far. So we'll get to some of the comments here. Ultimate Shooter says, what the fuck is the voting? T. Van den Berg thought Adam Beard had a good outing. You got a feel for that, don't you? You know, getting called up, thinking, well, Ellerman is off, so I'm gonna try and get myself into that testy, maybe sneak a test cap. Ellerman Jones like, oh, look, I mean, it's a little bit sort of hitting over there, the shoulder, but I can just sort of pop it back and be back in 18 days. It's unbelievable. These are B and I lines. It's truly not fair. That's why they play World Championship. They could have won easy. It was their game plan to play more and score from the kick. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You know, you can see they wanted to sort of test us rather than win the game. P3 said, I don't think either team's played at full intensity. It was a very touch and feel. I think it started off full intensity. I think that first 20-25 minutes was proper. And after that, I think the SAA were a little bit tired towards the end of the game. They'll need a bit of conditioning there. But I also think the Lions held back to a certain degree. They were very, very predictable, weren't they? They're pretty one-dimensional, kind of going one side to the left to the right, and not doing much different. Ultimate Shooter, they could have won definitely, maybe not through tries, but definitely through people posts. Navidia was also good. Yeah, I thought Navidia didn't have a Navidia performance, but he did what he had to do. Frankie Byrne, neither team showed anything, to be honest, especially the Lions going for the tap and go instead of the scrum. Well, that's the thing. You will never, ever go for a tap and go that many times. Never, ever, ever, ever. If you see an international team go for a tap and go, it's rare. It's rare that you go for a tap and go. So to do that, when you've got that scrum ascendancy, no chance. Magnus Peacock says, I really felt the Lions were deliberately not showing what they could do. This was the least Townsend, a team coached by Tooney, has looked since he was coaching the 2011 Rugby World Cup. Grant Swart says, PT says, yes, slow down a bit. Grant Swart says, Ellerman Jones used some strong multi to come back in 18 days. He's just unbelievable. I think it's probably dislocated at the moment. It's probably like sitting in a different place, but he's just telling them he's fine. Tim Vandenberg, holding back or no, still concerning the only points for the line score was versus a 13-man SA. How can Gats be the happier coach? We won with 13 men at one stage and no Rugby in 2 years. Don't agree. You can disagree with me. He said he's the happy. Well, he said he reckons he's the happier coach. Maybe Russ is happier. I mean, I don't know. We got a happy scale, but I'll tell you why. I'm almost a little bit nervous Warren Gatland hates a presser. He hates being in a press conference. He does it, but he's not happy. You could see, I think it was after the Japan game when they were asking, how's Alan Jones' injury? And he's saying, well, if I didn't have to talk to you, tossers, didn't quite say that, but paraphrasing a little bit, I'll be able to find out. But he doesn't enjoy handing up to the press. I've never seen him, and I've only been in a couple of the press conferences, but I've never seen Gatland looking so relaxed tonight. You could see, he was like, yeah, they were good. Yeah, we've got more to show. Yeah, we could do that. It was fine. We learned. It's exactly what we want. We want to be tasty. We want to be hit hard. That's what happened. He looked so relaxed that I think that, you could see Rusty Russ was very proud and very excited. But Gatland just looked so relaxed. I mean, for somebody who just lost against the side who's been in quarantine for a week, you could see he sat there thinking, it's fine, because I know that wasn't the team that we actually really put out. Whether he's bluffing, whether he's just calming a cool face, we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Frankie Burns says 6.5 for Tojo for what? Single-handedly shut down the entire block attack in the second half. And got yeah, look, I think that's harsh. I think that we're being mean about Tojo as well. I thought he was very good. But we'll move on to Josh Navidia. As I said, Josh Navidia, you usually see him hitting a lot of rucks, trying to win some turnovers sometimes. He's obviously very good in defense, very physical ball carrier. He made 10 tackles, didn't miss a single tackle. So very impressive in that respect. 6 carries from him. I mean, he can be a bit of a flashy player, Josh Navidia. He's a very watchable player. Look, having long hair helps. He attracts the attention. But I thought he was pretty solid. I thought that I think Tad Burns been. I think it's a bit harsh. I thought 7 was pretty fair for him. I thought he was pretty good. Tyler Byrne, who I think has been pretty good for most of the tour, could have a bit of an issue with Josh Navidia. Josh Navidia is just one of those players. He rises to the occasion. The tougher the box will come in, the tougher he'll get. He's a very reliable player. So Tad Burns got a tough time keeping him out, I think. In terms of Tom Curry, who the hell are you supposed to be? Okay, well, we've got issues with Falatau. This is Falatau here, people. I don't know what's happened here, but this is Talapo Falatau. We'll sort that out for the weekend. Apologies about that. Tom Curry. Tom Curry had a couple of very good runs. I thought that, Hamish Watson is a shoo-in to start, but Tom Curry is doing a lot to make sure he doesn't get left out. He made 11 tackles. He made 36 meters across 8 carries, 10 passes, 1 defender beaten, 1 clean break, 1 offload. I'll probably give him a 7 as well. I thought he was pretty good. I think that it's just a shame that he's got Hamish Watson ahead of him, because I think 6.3, I'm actually a little bit lower. I think Tom Curry has quite a lot to offer. So Falatau, I don't know if people rate Falatau. I thought that was Falatau's best game of the tour so far. I thought he looked pretty good with his ball carrying, a couple of good offloads, 5 carries, 4 tackles. He made 42 meters. I'll probably give that loose trio a 7. I think the backline for the Lions was probably their least impressive, to be honest. Conor Murray was better for me. Was better than he was on the weekend. Well, on the weekend he struggled quite a lot, so I thought he looked a lot better tonight. But I didn't think he was sensational. Maybe a 6 for Conor Murray. I didn't think. I think that's harsh. I definitely don't think he's a 4.3. I mean, a couple of kick chases he won quite well. I think he actually made quite a few tackles. He made 3 tackles. 2 defenders beaten, 1 offload, one clean break, 14 kicks from hand. I don't think he was a 4.3. I think that's a hell of a harsh. So I think 6 is. I think 6 is fair. I see some of you guys are agreeing with that. I think 4.3. I think people are having a bit of a luck here. Schweppes, bugger, my bad. This is what happens when you get changed before. I forgot. So this is Owen Farrell. He was terrible today, wasn't he? I'm hoping people don't vote this as if Dan Bigger played. I'm hoping people realize that was supposed to be Owen Farrell. I didn't think Owen Farrell was good at all. I mean, he's the reason that we scored. If Owen Farrell played better today, we would have won that game. He missed 1 tackle. He kicked well. He didn't actually have that much kick to do. 2 defenders beaten, 1 offload, 3 tackles made, 2 penalties, goals. I thought Farrell was pretty poor. And we don't like him. So we kind of, I didn't say I don't like him. I think he gets, he's just around the fringes. He's not popular in this country. I'm not going to openly go out there and say I don't like you. Faz, if you want to come on the channel, you're always welcome, your mate. Josh Adams also didn't play, so this was technically, this is a bit of a disaster, don't you? Because we've got Watson. Well, this is technically Liam Williams who actually went off early. So let's not even give Josh Adams a rating because he didn't play. I think there are some Lions fans here rating them. Yeah. Carl Miller says, do you think Russell will get his boot out of his shoe? I hope so. I think that I like Finn Russell. As I said, I like Alton Yankees. I like a Finn Russell. I like a Quade Cooper. As much as that they're very controversial, let's be honest, when they play well, like a Richie Mwanga, I think they can be entertaining to watch. And I'm all about the entertainment. Bundy Aki, Chris Harris. Well, Chris Harris... I thought Bundy Aki he couldn't get into the game. I mean, he tackled well, 5 tackles, but he just didn't get any go forward ball, did he? He's supposed to be, for somebody who's supposed to be quite marauding. I thought that he struggled to really get over the defensive line and didn't do much wrong in his defense. So I think 6 probably a fair. I mean, 6 is average, so 5.3 we'll take that. Chris Harris had a very strange game because Chris Harris had some really bad moments. He also had some pretty. I mean, he tell you what, you could see he took that clash against Cheslin personally, because after Cheslin rounded him for that first try, horrible defending by him, he then sat Cheslin Colby on the ground. So, look, we didn't score from it. I mean, they didn't score from it, so it's probably, I would say it's 2-1 Cheslin. I would have said 1-1, but I'd say it's 2-1 Cheslin. So I think Chris Harris, well, what was his stats like? He only had to make 1 tackle, and he missed 1 tackle. That was against Cheslin. He made 25 meters, again, 3 defenders beaten, 7 passes. He had a nice pass out wide. He tried around the players a couple of times. I thought he was pretty average. I still think he's a very good player, Chris Harris. So I can go with the 5.3. But yeah, he did get stepped around by Colby, but on the other hand, he then go and sat Colby on the floor. Reece Samet, he just couldn't get into the game. This is supposed to be Anthony Watson. What is going on? I spent all this time setting it up, and now it goes to shit. Yeah, Reece Samet had a very... If he scored that try, it probably would have been a redeeming factor for him. 6 tackles, 1 missed, 36 meters. Look, he beat 7 defenders, so let's not be too harsh. Probably give him a 6. They need to get him into the game more, don't they? This is Anthony Watson, who I thought was probably the best of the lot. 3 defenders beaten by him, 1 offload, 1 clean break, 4 tackles. Pretty good under the high ball. I'll probably give Anthony Watson maybe a 6 would have been better. Yeah, I've got a bit higher. I think 6 probably would have. In fact, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go with a 6. But I thought that Anthony Watson looked pretty good. I think that if they give him more space, then I think that he's a very lethal finisher. Madness. That's a very good point. And the Colby's try wasn't on Harris. Danny's kick was awful. Left Harrison needs to defending half the pitch. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a factor. I said it at the time when they kicked, I thought, and you can see Colby thought this is me on it. I mean you can't put, because that was part of it. I mean look, Harris got rounded and doesn't make the tackle, but I mean it's an outside centre versus the pace of Colby. But the problem is Louis Samet couldn't commit to helping him either because it was an outside man. So I agree. I think it was a horrible kick from Daly, a nothing kick. And I think if that was my fullback, I mean, that was Villy, I'd be doing my nut. I mean, Villy had a pretty poor kick where they took that line out quickly and then spread it down the left and Falatau and almost sort of ran in there. But yeah. Stephen Lutz, I'd like to see Fassi at 11 in the first test, almost like how the All Blacks use Ricky only 5. You see, the problem is with that is that we've kind of got this guy called Makazola Mapimpi. Who also needs to come back. So let's not forget that he's sitting waiting in the wings. Cowan Dickey was I mean, he didn't have, I mean, how many minutes did Cowan Dickey have? 34 carries, 6 tackles. I'd say bang average. I don't think it was bad. I think it was great. 5.3. Look, I mean, remembering that with this bench didn't concede a single point, this British and Irish Lions bench. So when you look at the forwards, I thought Michael Vanapola was quite good actually when he came on. Made a couple of nice tackles, did he? And slowed the ball at the breakdown. I thought he looked pretty good. 7 carries, 11 tackles. It's probably got to be a 7. I mean, to come on for 35 minutes and make 11 tackles, make 7 carries, yeah, I think it was pretty good. 5.5, I think is harsh. I think, as I said, for half an hour, he came on and was everywhere. Made a couple of, I think he won a turnover. Well, no, it doesn't have it here, but he slowed the ball down quite a few times. Made quite a lot of tackles. As I said, carried the ball up quite a lot. He was very, very involved for someone who only came on in the second half. Zana Ferguson, well, he was pretty terrible, wasn't he? Conceded a penalty. Yeah, it was not a good time. 3 carries, 2 tackles. Probably give him 4 maybe. I didn't think he was good at all. Yeah, we're all there. Zana Ferguson didn't have a good time tonight. Adam Beard was pretty. I mean, how long did Adam Beard get? Longer than Ted Bird, I can tell you that much. He got 18 minutes, made 3 tackles. For that, you kind of get... I mean, it's always difficult when you don't have much to do. You get a 6. Yeah, it's fine. Burn was pretty poor, I thought, you know. Gave away the penalty. Made 1 tackle. I'll probably give you a 4. 5.7. I'm not convinced about that. He didn't make a single carry. He made 1 tackle, and he gave away a penalty at a crucial stage where I thought that if they hadn't conceded that, they could have been in our corner and could have gone over for a try. So I don't know why we're giving him a 6. I thought he was pretty bad. Sam Simmons was a bit quiet. You know, you could see he was trying to do something, but didn't really manage to get into the game much. 5 tackles, 1 turnover, 1, 3 meters gain, 2 carries. Probably a 6. 5.8. Yeah, Gareth Davies. I mean, how many minutes did you get? They used him as a crash ball. I love that. We'll give you a 6, Gareth. I mean, shame. What are you supposed to do in 5 minutes, really? Elliot Daly was pretty average, actually. I thought that he had a couple of decent reads. Look, he made some important tackles, but I think he's at fault for that first try, as we said earlier. So yeah, I'll go with Elliot Daly. 4 defenders beaten. Probably 6. Yeah, 5.8. Did Simmons play? Yeah, as I said, he was quiet. He didn't get a lot of ball, did Simmons. But I think that I don't know why. Actually, I can't even explain to why. I think he is going to be on the bench. I think he's going to be part of their bomb squad. He's a very, very explosive player to bring on. Is Sam Simmons. But yeah, please do smash a like on the video. By the way, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're killing the subscribers at the moment. We're pushing for 2,500, which is really, really cool. I didn't think we'd be anywhere near looking like that at this stage. Yeah, so please do smash a like before we sort of get to the box. The SA. Right, well, Stephen Kitsop, we had a much better game than his counterpart on the other end of the scrum. 4 carries, 8 tackles. He missed 3 tackles, did Stephen Kitsop. So maybe not his best game. Yeah, it wasn't bad, though. Is 7 generous? I'm trying to start 7 generous. I mean, he missed 3 tackles, but I didn't see him do much wrong. So, I'll give you a... Yeah, I see people... I'm also going to get a 6, actually. Back yourself, Stephen. Back yourself. I thought he was alright. Wasn't his best game. He kind of struggled to get into the game a little bit. Jojo Pollard, I thought his performance was pretty impressive. Why is Trevor doing this? Why do people hate me? What is going... Oh, my living. Well, this has gone terribly. Did we delete these people by mistake? Oh, I might have deleted by mistake. This is the major stuff up on my side. No, I didn't, though. I don't know what's going on here, people. I'm really, really sorry. So we'll just debate this live then, shall we? This is supposed to be Trevor and you can't... So Joseph Dwebe, after a horrible line-out, and I thought, oh my goodness, here we go. I thought he came back pretty well. Made a lot of tackles. Made 7 tackles, didn't miss a single one. He made 3 carries. I'll probably go with 6 Dwebe just because of maybe that that line-out wasn't great. And I thought it was quite an important line-out for him, but he counted back nicely. So give you a solid 6. 4.5 I think is harsh. I don't think he was that bad. This is supposed to be Trevor. So we can debate it over here. I'll wait for you guys to sort of catch up with me. What are we reckoning about Trevor? She's deleted Trevor scrumming. I deleted everybody, unfortunately. I'm going to go with a 4 for Trevor. 4.7. I don't know if people know this is Trevor or not. As you can see, this is a massive, massive stuff up. So we'll sort this out for this weekend. I can promise you that. So that was supposed to be Trevor, 4.7. This is the problem. I try to do nice things and it just doesn't work. This is then, if this is Trevor, then this is Franco. This is Evan Etzerberg. Probably sitting around at 7 or 8 for me. 3 carries, 15 tackles, 1 tackle missed. Yeah, we'll give Evan. We'll probably give Evan a 7 or an 8. 7 or 8. 7 or 8. I'm trying to think of who was better than him. Who gets a 9? We got no 10. 10 is a sensational performance. You know, we're talking like Dwayne from the World Cup final. You know, so I'll probably give Etzerberg a 7. Thought he was pretty good. Well, yeah, you guys are agreeing. Assuming you guys know that this is Franco Mustard. In hindsight, I'll probably add names just in case this doesn't work next time. Then we've got Franco Mustard. 4 carries, 12 tackles, 2 missed, 2 turnovers, 1. He did win a very important turnover. Very good at the lineups as well. The locks, so we can give 7s. I think we can give 7s. Marco van Staden, right. Well, whatever you're going to get, you're getting one. It's difficult. I don't know. I feel like it's harsh to give him one less for the yellow card. Made 11 tackles. He missed one. He won a turnover. He did get sin binned. Almost didn't make that tackle against Reece Zammit. It's an interesting one for Marco van Staden. Look, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't say that van Staden blew me away today. I didn't. He didn't walk off the pitch, and I'm going, starter for the test. I think I'll probably go with the 6 for him then. 4, maybe his tackles, maybe a 5 would have been fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did his test chances any good. I don't think that suddenly he's jumping ahead. Piece at the toy before he went off was pretty monumental, so we'll probably give him a 7. 1 carry, 5 tackles. He made some big hits, so I'll probably he looked very good to Piece toy, so I'll probably give him a 7 if we know that this is Piece toy. 7.8. Yeah. Stalin was wearing Faf's underwear on the head. I love it. Marco always a beast, but 6 is okay. Yeah, I think we're mostly sitting at around a 6. Grant Slots from Stalin was decent. Still not sure about his yellow. 6 should be fair. Guys going with 7. We're going for Piece the toy here, hey? I went with a 7, hey? Yeah, I think we'll go 7. Kennecoon said that's a poor result for the Lions. They spent more time together than a hastily put A team, and they had more training and still lost. Visa 7. Yeah, I thought Visa was pretty solid. I'd like to see more ball carrying from him. I thought he adapted quite well for his with the kickoff stuff like that. He made 9 carries, making up 9 meters. He didn't make a lot of ground, but he did carry the ball quite a lot. 6 tackles. He won 2 turnovers. He conceded 2 turnovers. I'm always a bit dodgy when it comes to the stats. These statistics on here at Ultimate Rugby. So I'm actually going to bring up Rugby Pass to try and see if we can get a counter stat site. I mean, I don't think that Visa blew the house down. I don't think that, I mean, obviously Dwayne Famine walks back into the side. But the question we need to ask is, did Visa play his way into that starting lineup? Was he better than Kwaka Smith? Which is difficult because Kwaka Smith played against Georgia. But, I think that we saw the value in having Malcolm Marx as a fetcher, which kind of makes me wonder if we don't go Kwaka Smith at number 8. Look, otherwise you're bringing in the Pierre brother. But I think the fact that we didn't see the Pierre brother, we don't know if he's isolating or not, if Dan or Jean-Luc are going to be coming in to add that bulk. But in terms of, Jasper Visa made 9 tackles apparently, 2 turnovers, 1 apparently. Discipline, penalties conceded. He conceded 2 penalties. So I'll probably go with a 6 or a 7. What are we thinking here? What's the chat on Visa? 7. I'm seeing a 7. Visa gets a 6 and an extra 1 for the moustache. Love it. Yeah, I'll go with 7 for Jasper Visa. It was his first game at starting, and I thought that the occasion didn't get to him. Put it that way. Faf. Well, I think Faf probably would have gotten an 8, but he gets a stupid yellow card. So we'll probably bump him down to a 7, maybe even a 6. Yeah, I'll probably give Faf a 7. I think that he played well. I thought he managed the game very well, but you've got to give him 1 down because of that yellow card. So we'll give Ash a 7. 6.5. We're pretty close there. What are we saying here? Thor's missed badly for his defensive coordination. P3 says I still want to see Dan Dupree. Visa more of a 6th and an 8th man. Mornay missing his kicks. Like, why could we have been a 20 meters drop in front of the pole so we could have been 23? Mornay was not good. Yeah, I'm not going to give Mornay a particularly high rating. I thought that that drop goal especially really, really pissed me off because I thought we were under the cosh a little bit. We needed to see the game off. There was no need to go and do that. He is next as Mornay Stain. I think a 5 is probably going to be about fair. I think I don't know. I mean, he put in a cross kick today. Mornay Stain doesn't cross kick. He doesn't do that. I mean, I know you've done it a couple of times at franchise level. This is not the thing. I mean, I thought it was a dangerous cross kick because I think that if Anthony Watson caught that in front of Spirit and Corsi, we could have been in a bit of trouble. He missed that penalty, which I thought was pretty important. And I thought that drop goal under pressure was pretty brainless. So I'll probably go with a 5 for Stain. I think he could have. I think 4 would probably be a bit harsh. We'll see what people have to say. 4.5. Put it this way. I wouldn't have said if Alton Yankees was worried that he wasn't going to be sort of second choice. I think he'd probably be a bit happier tonight, and I think that kind of speaks to that performance. But Jojo Pollard is certainly not worried about his spot. Put it that way. So I think that he was all right with Mornay staying, but he kind of looked like a third choice fly half. He kind of looked like somebody who we were giving game time that we didn't really back to do. I just didn't like. I think the drop kick probably pissed me off the most. Maybe I'm being harsh. Standard saying 5.5 was this Mornay's last game. Even with the kicking game plan, his kicks were so poor. He didn't find a lot of ground, did he, for his touch? P3 agrees. Says Premier as our defensive captain. He played the game plan. Murray 5, slow, more predictable. Staines lack of game control, put too much pressure on Faf. He cost 6 points. Grandswell says Mornay did exactly what he expected to do. No flash, keep the pressure on with his boots. Yeah, look, I mean, it is the game plan, but did he kick us out of pressure a lot? Did he put us in the front foot a lot? I mean, did he kick really well? I don't think he did. I think it's harsh because and it's such a difficult one with Mornay State, isn't it? I don't know what we do with him. I don't know if we do back him as our second choice fly half, if we roll the dice with Alton. It's funny because they're so different. It's chalk and cheese really in terms of what they do. I'm not saying who's better and who's worse, but there's so many different players. Mornay Stain's always a safe option in terms of exactly what you get, whereas Alton Yankees can blow it hot and cold, but an on song Alton Yankees can win you a game. So it depends on what you want to see. I mean, for Springboks, Mornay Stain has always sort of suited that, but Alton Yankees is something that should have been in New Zealand. That sort of that flair, that bit of a sort of living on the fringes. But I think he was average tonight. Alton may make mistakes, but when he's good, he is good. Carl Miller says, how many of the British lines would you expect to start tests of tonight? Who comes back in? Who comes into the side tonight? I think Henshaw. I think we need to see Henshaw. I think Stuart Hogg comes in. I think Josh Adams probably starts. I think Duvan's probably hard pressed not to start. I think a back three of Duvan, Josh Adams, and Stuart Hogg is probably what I would go with, based on what we see. I mean, maybe we could have Anthony Watson as well. A lot of people talking about Anthony Watson. I wouldn't go re-Sammer just yet. I think maybe it's sort of the second or third test, maybe off the bench. Centers, you got to see. You got to put Robbie Henshaw in the center, and I don't know what they're going to do if they're going to. I don't think Sexton. I think Owen Farrell will be at inside center, or it's going to be Mundiaki. We will see Dan Bigger at fly half if he's fit. So Mornay did a lot of stupid kicks as well, contributed a lot to the British Lions possession dominance. The worst thing about scoring your players as average as they are only going to get better in the Lions will know this. Yankees has more upside. Yeah, only 2 kicks I can recall, but only because of the chase from Colby was great. Daly, Greg, you're having a laugh here. Don't come here with Daly's better than Hogg. Stuart Hogg's a goat. I love Stuart Hogg. When he's playing well, and he's got the celebration. You see the photos of that guy. Would you play Farrell at 12, then who at 13? If Farrell's at 12, it's Henshaw's 13. Henshaw starts. The problem is that him and Hogg have not played a lot, but when they got into the play, Henshaw was starting every day of the week. I think he has to start. Whether it's at inside or whether it's outside, I don't know what we do. I think Chris Harris maybe didn't cover himself in glory, but I think he's very important defensively. So I was quite keen to see maybe a Henshaw-Harris combination at some stage. Probably go Owen Farrell at 12 and Robbie Henshaw at 13. But we're kind of forgetting about Henshaw. We're kind of forgetting about Hogg because they haven't played. But we'll get to your comments after the rating. Let's try and get through these ratings. Spoon Corsi, I thought it was pretty good. Scored a try, had the legs, made his tackles. Was quite busy. Probably give him a solid 7. I thought he was decent. It was decent. Going with an 8. I think he was very good. I think it's so. I mean, how do you drop him after the performance like that? I think I was probably harsh. I'm gonna go with 8 for him. I think he was really, really good tonight. Was Spoo. And I think that it's you've got Makazula Mapimpi. He's not in the squad. What do you do? Who do you pick? Because Spoo, of course, he did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. Damien Dealendi was a quiet game for Damien. Didn't get a lot of ball. Sometimes you can sort of look at Mornay Day maybe before that. 1 defender beaten, 1 pass, 5 tackles, 1 missed tackles. I think it was one of the quietest games I've seen from Damien Dealendi. He did nothing wrong though. I don't think it was his fault that he was a quiet game. I think he didn't get a lot of ball. So I'll probably go with 7 because 7's nice and 7.5. I don't think he was an 8, so I think that's going a bit high. Lekanyo, no, he was good tonight. As I said, I mean, stats wise, we'll look at his stats now, and I bet you they don't say much. 0 clean breaks, 6 out of 8 tackles, 1 try. What has Rugby Parts got to say about him? Lacanio didn't concede a penalty. They've got him as making 5 tackles, only missing 1. And on the attack, they've got him as making 20 meters, 1 try, 3 carries. But I just thought that, he read the game incredibly well. That cross kick from Farrell where he jumped up and marked it. He made that big tackle on... Who was it? Was it Conor Murray on the side there? Very important tackle where he bundled him out. Oh, it was against Daly. No, was it? Who did he put his hand in? I think it was Daly. Yeah, I think it was Daly. When he had to make a contribution, he made it perfectly. So I thought that was immense. I'm probably going with a 9 for If no one's getting a 10, just by the way, I'm putting this out there. 9.5, no one's getting a 10. 10 out of 10 performances, you don't even get 10 out of 10 performances in this sort of game. You'll get it in the test, maybe. But I'm talking like a hat-trick in the test. I'm talking like, if Mapimpi comes in and runs in 3 or 4 tries, that's a 10 out of 10 performance. Cheslin Colby also going to get a 9 for me. I don't know who this person's supposed to be. 9 there. It's pretty solid there. Bench. This is supposed to be Malcolm Marks. Oof, Malcolm Marks. He'll be coming around the finger. Malcolm Marks. He'll be coming around the mountain. Malcolm Marks. He'll be coming around the mountain. Sorry. Malcolm Marks came on, played 42 minutes, 2 carries, 3 tackles, 1 turnover, 1 is how his stats read. But let's be honest, he was monumental when he came on. The tackles, that Anthony Watson, I thought that break, maybe not necessarily him, but that break looked like it was try written all over it. Made that tackle, got straight back up, made another tackle, won a very important turnover. He's just immense. He's just a freak of nature, as Malcolm Marks. I'll tell you what, he could, after obviously Etzerberg and stuff, I wouldn't want to get in a fight with Malcolm Marks. I just don't think you'd be able to move him. So I'll go with an 8 from him. I was really, really impressed. Shamey, 9 Colby. Yeah, we all go in 9. We all say that was excellent. Yeah, agreed. No Farrell, Bigger, Henshaw, Daly, and Davis or Price. Yeah, I think we could also see Elliot Daly at outside centre, but I think you've got to get Henshaw in there. Shark's captaincy has done wonders for composure. When we were down to 30 men, he took control. He's just very quiet. I think a lot of people will say that he's... You know what it is? A lot of people, if they don't see their captain shouting and screaming and talking, stuff like that, will say that there's no leadership. But he's a very quiet, sort of very composed sort of player. Mark's a tyrant of a breakdown. I thought top league would soften him up, but he's still solid. 100%. Doesn't look like he's been playing in Japan, does he? Gerard Swart says future Stormer. Marks was brilliant. No, don't come here with your cuck. You've got enough hookers. Tom Curry was my man of the match. Yeah, he was good for the Lions. So 7.3 there for Marks. Cooney Oosthuizen wasn't bad, was he? I don't think he did much. He's 18 minutes, 3 carries. When you start getting those sort of contributions, he didn't do anything wrong, massively wrong. So probably give him a 6. 5.5 is fair. There's a big scrum that we need to talk about. So maybe Oosthuizen and Vincent Koch and I think our front rows I thought that was bar the hookers were pretty average. I think Vincent Koch was also nothing special when he came on. I'll probably also give him a 6. Made 5 tackles to Vincent Koch. Yeah, I see we're finishing 5.5s. I think are pretty fair. If I could give him 5.5, I'll give it. So I'm glad we sort of landed up there. They weren't great. Our prop struggled. And that's a bit of a worry, isn't it? There's a bit of a worry that our prop struggled so much. But I think that's such a big part of the game, and that's one of the reasons. The Beast and Franz Malherbe scrummed in submission, and then Vincent Koch came on, and him and Stephen Kitsoff, that's who, changed the game in that World Cup final. But that was also because we had props going off early. Poor Joe Marlow was not supposed to play 80 minutes, and then had to. Nico Janssen van Rensburg, I thought he was pretty good when he came on. I haven't seen a lot of him. 3 carries, 2 tackles. I'll probably give him a 6 or 7. He made that. He won us the game in many ways. That tackle of his dislodging the ball from Zana Ferguson. But I thought he looked pretty good. We haven't seen a lot of him. Lots of people were very surprised when he was called up. Nothing special. I think I'd say probably a solid 6. Yeah, we're there. Reynard Ulster. Am I just watching somebody else? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm incredibly biased. But I wasn't that impressed with Reynard Ulster. I just think he comes on the field. He had 6 carries, 4 tackles. He missed the tackle. He didn't. He made 6 carries and didn't make a single meter. I think that's probably what sticks out for me. is that for somebody who gets a lot of the ball, he just doesn't go anywhere, does he? In fact, I think he almost went backwards a couple of times. I think that Rusty really rates him. I'm not quite sure why. I think he looks a bit like a thug. I had to go with him on the watch along because I think he came on and within like seconds of him coming on, he was trying to, I don't know, he's having a go at people in that game. We'll just talk about the fact that you don't come on and start giving people 50 cups and getting involved and having some afters. Earn your right. Go and make a couple of big tackles, make some impact, stuff like that. So I didn't think he had a great game. Yassine Salih says Ulstad's a walking yellow. Ferguson really struggled. Ultimate Sharpshooter said Ulstad has been a disappointment since the match against Australia in 2019 Rugby World Cup. I don't see why needs and Rassi like him. Ulstad is there to soften up the opposition. Look, he's very big. He's 117 kgs and he's 6'5", so he's a very big character. The thing with Ryan, he gives away a lot of penalties. I just haven't been impressed by him just yet. The jury's still out, then, as far as I'm concerned. Herschel Yankees, what he's supposed to do. I mean, he came on a wing for about 5 minutes. 8 minutes played. You just give him a 6, don't you? Herschel, if you're watching, it's nothing to do with your performance. You just couldn't do much. This is supposed to be Jesse Creel, who played on the wing. He made 2 tackles. Yeah, 6. And I think Damien Willemse will probably get a 7. I thought Willemse came on and looked very good. Very, very impressive out of Damien Willemse. He made 7 tackles, didn't miss a single tackle, 1 pass. Yeah, he's very solid inside centre. I think I'd like to see more of Damien Willemse at inside centre because I think that's where we've got a bit of a gem in there. Probably was flouting it around a 7. Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I'll give you a 7. Hey, and you guys agree. Well, that's it, really. So the last thing to do, and then we can just have a bit of a chat for a few hours. Jeepers, we're already over an hour. It's past midnight. What are you guys doing up? What am I doing up? I haven't even eaten. I need food. Right, let's end this poll, shall we? Let's see. Who you guys? The fans. The fans. We are for the fans. By the fans. And the fans have voted. Jesse played 8th man. Well, he is built like an 8th man, to be fair. Hey, where's our poll gone? The fans have voted for Cheslin Colby, just edges Lukhanyo in a nail-biting victory for man of the match. 37% of the votes. Lukhanyo coming second with 35%. Mario Toji with 17%. Malcolm Marks, 9%. 147 of you voted, so thank you very, very much. Yeah, final thoughts of the game is I think a lot of people were saying it's a game where people didn't want to give much away. So we can't really sort of talk about what we're really going to learn from it because I don't think we've had the chance to learn much. But I think confidence is the big thing. We've taken a lot of confidence out of that game. We now, it's winning is a habit. So that's the one thing that we can suddenly say. We beat them. We know we can beat them. If our SAA side can beat them, we can probably beat them. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is the fact that you've got that confidence moving into next week. We'll see a different SAA side on Saturday if they do play. You didn't rate Ulstad. I didn't rate Ulstad. You didn't I? Jean Renal, you savior. You savior. Yeah, get a 4. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. It's been a long night. It's been a long day. Had a full bloody 8-hour work shift and then we've done this. Jesse had a huge work rate. It felt in the team. A real marker was laid down when the Lions couldn't cross the line against the 13. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that we'll take a lot of positives from this. I think the Lions equally, whilst they might not have had the best game, could have won that game. They could have won that game. That's the reality. The reality is the discipline probably needs to improve. We can't giving away close on 30 penalties. But apart from that, in terms of the SAA side, we'll see on Saturday. I think it'll be announced tomorrow. I haven't had any official communication. I'm trying to see if there's any communication here. And there's no... Yeah, I haven't heard anything about what's going on tomorrow, so hopefully we'll hear. But I imagine that there'll be a team announcement tomorrow or Friday. And I reckon we will see Oxenchair, Scurry Intabeni, Orjo Sudweber, Vincent Koch, Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg, Marvin Ori. Assuming these players are available, by the way. I've got no idea who's available. So if Lou Diago is available, he might play. I think our loose trio, assuming Khaleesi's not available, we'll probably see Quacka Smith. I would go Quacka Smith and both the Duprees. I'll go Quacka Smith 6th and Jean-Luc and Dan. They will go with... I'll start Herschel Yankees because he didn't get any game time with Cobus Reinach off the bench. I'll go Alton Yankees at 10. I'll go Fassi and Roscoe Speckman as your wings. I'll go Damien Willemse and want to see the Similani as your centres. and I would go with no, in fact, my wings on Saturday would probably be, if they're assuming they're available. By the way, this is assuming everyone's available. I would go with Yao Penkle, Roscoe Speckman, and then Apelele Fassi at fullback. Similani and David Williams at this is getting quite a tasty little backline here. I mean, I'm not sure about forward to be able. Well, I mean, they're playing the Bulls, but yeah, we could have quite a little. We could have a backline of Hershey Yankees, Alton Yankees, Roscoe Speckman, Yao Penkle, centre combination of Similani and Damian Williamson. We can have Apelele Fassi at fullback. We've got to make this happen, don't we? Petition, people. Let's start a petition. We need to get that backline going. The pack, as I said, I like to see Kwaka and the Dupreas. I'd like to see a combination of. I'd like to see Ori and Blue Diaga. Blue Diaga's fit. Front row be Oxenshare, Joseph Dweber / Garen Tabeni, and probably Vincent Koch. And then after that, I don't really care. If Lisa Walker's looking for a game, he can get a game. If Fezan Barty, if they need to get him a game, he can get a game. Who else hasn't played? I'm trying to think. Who hasn't played? Pimpy hasn't played, so I suppose maybe he has to play on the weekend. So you could put like, Fassi on the bench, or you just got to give these players a go. And I'm very, very gutted that Similani is not going to play against the British Irish Lions. That's heartbreaking. It breaks my heart. That he's not going to play the Lions, that Fassi's not going to play the Lions, that Roscoe Speckman's not going to play the Lions, and they would have if they went at the Union. So that's very frustrating, but it is what it is in terms of this tour. We'll be live for that as long as they show that Bulls SAA game. We'll be live for that. We'll be live for Lions versus the Stormers. Expect a whole news. We're going to see Marcus Smith this weekend. How cool is that? Should see Marcus Smith this weekend. I don't think we'll see Alan Jones. I think it'll probably be too soon for him. He only arrives tomorrow, so. Friday, Saturday, probably too soon. But we will see Marcus Smith at fly half this weekend. I think that's going to be quite cool. Hopefully, we'll see Stuart Hogg. Hopefully, we'll see Robbie Henshaw. Hopefully, we'll see Finn Russell back as well. Finn Russell, it doesn't sound like he's going to be ready for the test or anything like that. But hopefully, we'll see Bigger and Hogg and see Josh Adams. Josh Adams is fine, by the way. No injuries or anything like that. He was witnessing the birth of his child. So he'll be back this weekend. But I'm going to end it up there. It's well past 12 o'clock and I need to go and get some sleep. And we'll be back tomorrow. But before I go to bed, don't worry, I'll schedule all the press conferences. So you'll have Gatland, you'll have Cheslin and Jasper, and you'll have Conor Murray all tomorrow morning to go and watch. And then tomorrow we've got let me look at my schedule. Tomorrow we have got a Lions versus Cheetahs press conference, and those two teams announced. The game is still on the Currie Cup. We won't have Sharks versus Pumas preview because that's been cancelled. We will hopefully have an SAA versus Bulls preview if those teams are announced, and we'll hopefully have we'll try and get out a Lions versus Stormers preview if those teams come out tomorrow. I think the Stormers are expected to. I've got the Stormers pressed down at. I think Stormers could be announced the team on Friday, so I'll confirm that. But then, we should have press conferences from the Lions as well as the Springboks should also have some media stuff tomorrow. So we'll get that all up tomorrow. So first new seatbelts because a lot of content is coming your way. Have a very, very good night. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in across the night. It's been a fantastic evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see you guys live this weekend. And please do keep safe if you are staying in South Africa. It's a really, really tough time for us, but we've got some way to keep us company and keep us going. So please do keep safe wherever you are. If you're overseas, enjoy overseas and stuff like that. Good to see you coming back to your roots, or if you're just a guest, then welcome to the channel. And please do keep subscribing. Please do keep smashing that like, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Have a good